You only get one chance to make a first impression. And that goes for interviewing as well. When you're interviewing with someone and you have that first interview, you have one chance to come off as a great candidate, and even a small mistake can derail that. In today's video, I'm going to give you 6 things you can do to ruin a first impression. To be clear, it's not so you can do them, it's so you can not do them. Let's go. Hi everybody, I'm Ben White with Ben Talks Talent. I've got 12 years experience in interviewing, hiring, and recruiting, and I'm passionate about using my experience to help you become the best candidate possible and land your next job. It is incredibly easy to make a mistake and make a bad first impression, and I don't want that for you. So in today's video, I'm gonna tell you what those easy things are to make a bad impression so you can avoid doing them. But before we get into the video, do me a favor. If you are new here, take 3 seconds, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and hit that notification bell. That way you never miss one of my videos. And if you are not new, welcome back. Let's get into the video. Now the first one's actually kind of a no-brainer, but it's something people do a lot, and most of the time it's not really intentional, and it's lying or exaggerating. So people do this not because they want to trick the person interviewing them, but a lot of times people have the tendency to embellish what it was they did, what their contribution was, how they impacted their organization, and what their specific skills are. But I could tell you, from someone who spends a lot of time talking to hiring managers and someone who is a hiring manager, no hiring managers like this, and it's pretty easy for people to kind of pick out. I've heard from hiring managers feedback like, Ben, the candidate said he did a lot of things, but it just seemed like he was exaggerating, or that's not realistic for the role. So while a lot of times people do that to make themselves appear to be a better candidate, it doesn't really land, and it could actually end up hurting you, and it's a good way to ruin a first impression. The next one's another no-brainer, but it happens, and I gotta tell you, it's a bad look, and that's showing up late. Hiring managers hate this, and here's why. Let me put you inside the mind of a hiring manager for 1 second. So you're about to interview, right? And this needs to go well, because if it doesn't go well, nothing will come from it in the future. So you've got one chance, one shot, one opportunity, one opportunity here, and you show up late. So when it's so important, when it's so critical to be there and you're not able to do it, how in the world are they supposed to trust that you'll be able to be on time and deliver things when they need to be delivered on a regular basis? All hiring managers make this assumption when you show up late. If they couldn't be here on time, they will never be on time. And it's hard to blame them. Don't show up late. Another good way to ruin a first impression is stating something as a fact, right? Like, I've done blank. And then when the hiring manager asks you, oh, can you give me an example of that? And then having no examples. Can you imagine that? Like, you're talking to someone, you're like, oh man, I did this great thing. It was so cool. And you're like, tell me more. And they're like, right? Like, that is a bad impression. That, again, kind of circling back to thing 1, means 1, you are lying or exaggerating, or more realistically, when this happens, you weren't prepared. You said something that could very well be true, but you were not prepared in the slightest to back it up. That is a great way to ruin a first impression. The next one's really easy to do, and it's kind of hard, and it's talking too much or too little. So if a hiring manager asks you a question, right? Let's just say it's a question like, what is your greatest strength? A very common interview question. Your greatest strength shouldn't be something you say real quick like this: organizational skills. Like, if you just say that, that could be true. That could be your greatest strength, but you need to expand upon it. Alternatively, you don't want to take 5 minutes to explain your greatest strength. Either one of these things, while true, while accurate, isn't hitting the mark. Reality is, you need to be answering this question within 60 to 90 seconds. You need to be clear, you need to be concise, and you need to make an impact with the strength. But if you say 1 or 2 words and just a brief answer, or you go on forever, that is a great way to ruin a first impression with a hiring manager. Another easy way to ruin an impression with a hiring manager, first impression, is to come off desperate. Now, this one's tough, because there are certainly times where I know I have been desperate to crush an interview and land a job. And I'm sure you, someone watching my video, has felt that, where you're like, I need this. I need to land this job. But I can tell you from firsthand experience, you do not want to come off desperate in your interview. Saying things like, I really need to get this job, or I really hope you're going to consider me for this job because I really need it. that's going to make the hiring manager go, I don't know about this. Why is this person so desperate? Are they unemployable? Are they not attractive to other employers? What is it about their background that makes it so that other people are not interested in them? Well, it may very well be true that you are desperate. One of the last things you want to do is give off the impression you are desperate, because it is going to push hiring managers away. Now, the last thing, I'm going to say this one because right now, video interviews are so prevalent. It is so common and they happen. But a good way to ruin a first impression is to have significant technical difficulties while you're starting your interview, right? So you have a Zoom interview, you have a Skype interview, you have a Microsoft Teams video interview, and you're about to log on. It's 2 minutes before, and all of a sudden your computer says, this won't work without a restart, or there are problems and you cannot get on. And you might think to yourself, this is understandable. We're in a new world where people are meeting virtually, and sometimes there are mistakes, there is technology mishaps. And while that is true, it is absolutely going to ruin your first impression. It's going to make the hiring manager think, okay, well, maybe they're not good at technology and they need technology to do their job. Or maybe they're going to think, well, this person wasn't prepared. A prepared person would have tried the software ahead of time and be ready. And frankly, that's a little bit true. If you're going to be doing a video with Zoom, or you're going to be doing it with Microsoft Teams, or you're going to be doing it with Skype, you need to test it first and make sure it works for you. But this is important. Do not do it during working hours. One, because you should probably be working, and your future boss doesn't want to see that you're doing non-working related things during working hours. But two, I have literally had people jump into my Zoom meeting while I'm using it to talk to people on my team or with a client. The fact of the matter is, I'm using my personal Zoom link for 30 meetings a week. And that's not exaggerating, that is accurate. And I'm interviewing people, and when I interview people and then all of a sudden they join my meeting, I know it's because they're testing it out and they're like, all right, I'm interviewing with Ben tomorrow, so let me join his Zoom room and make sure the link works. And part of me appreciates that. And the other part of me is like, why did you not do this in the evening? So it's kind of funny. And then they exit super fast. It's like the fastest you will ever see someone exit a Zoom room. But that is another way in which you can absolutely ruin a first impression, is by not being prepared to deal with the technology that you're going to need to use in an interview. There you have it. Those are 6 ways to ruin a first impression. Please don't do any of these things. Good luck in your next interview. You got this.